You're listening to the official podcast of the Salt Lake Bees. Welcome back to the On Deck Circle. Our guest is Bees pitcher Chase Silseth, who had an outstanding performance last night in the victory over Albuquerque. And Chase, first of all, a lot of support here last night, a loud group of fans for you, and I'm sure the pass list was long.
Oh my gosh, the pass list was very, very long. And it was fun just being here from, New Mexico, 2.5 hours away, growing up. The support I get from the state is just phenomenal. To friends, to family, friends, to friends, to family, friends of friends is awesome, And, my gas list was probably about 30 people, and I didn't know how much. We had to start buying tickets for some family members. And, some family members even bought a whole suite to themselves, and they had one suite up there. So, it was a great time.
I'm sure it was. Of course, the last time you pitched in this ballpark was a state tournament game, and this is one of the nicest AAA parks in our league, and so that had to be a special experience as a high schooler playing here.
Yeah, it's just awesome when you get to experience something like that at, a young age, being 17, 18 years old. As a little kid, you just always look forward to playing in a professional ballpark, even if it's low A, high A, double A. You hear professional baseball park, you're excited and you got a little extra. And to experience that as a young kid was awesome. The memories weren't very great, but but just to take that experience and playing something like this is just absolutely a dream.
Thinking about last night, talking to a scout that was here, and he said the impressive thing about your game is your aggressiveness. You don't back down from anyone. You want to be the guy in charge.
Yes. When I'm out there, I hate to lose. So when you're in there and you're competing against me, I'm going to give it my all and, just attack you. And, it tends to affect me sometimes because I hate to lose so much that when someone earns something on me, then I can tip their cap. But when it's like it's hit, you jam them and it just falls in, or we have a little thing and they, hit it softly through a hole, it tends to get me too pissed because I'm so aggressive and don't want to lose in my competitiveness. And that's one of the things I need to learn this year and throughout my professional career is to just slow down and breathe. Even when I get 2 outs, I speed things up and tend to go 3-0 when I get 2 outs. And, it's just a learning experience for me. But, yes, I want to take charge out there and just be aggressive because I hate to lose. And growing up with a brother, beating me up all the time, wrestling, I just hate it. So, he kind of built me up to be in there. And I think it's that part of my mindset has taken me a long way.
You throw three, so many different pitches, but you throw 3 different fastball, 2-seamer, 4-seamer, and a cutter, and really does wonders as far as keeping a hitters off balance. And if one's not working, you have the other 2 to rely on.
Yes, I mean it's phenomenal. It's like one of those great things, but it's also hard because you have to learn. When you have 6 pitches, to kind of master 6 pitches is pretty tough. To master 2 to 3 pitches is really tough. You can never say you really master a pitch, I think, because I don't think you ever get everything figured out in this game. You get humbled really quick. But to be able to do all that stuff and move the fastball is great. I like my strikeouts, but the ability these last 2 weeks, I've kind of found myself to, get soft contact. And, no one's really hit the ball hard on me yet this year, knock on wood. But, that's just the mindset I have is just to go attack and, with those pitches, it's just awesome to just show different looks to hitters. And when I get in later in the count, that's when I can start showing, the splitter and the sweeper to get strikeouts. And then also the curveball to land, which was 2 for 3 yesterday for strikes to steal a strike, which just makes that another thing. So the ability and my pitch ability is just great. If I can just hone it in a little bit better and control them all, later in games especially, and just, have that good control that I know I can have, it's going to be pretty good.
Finally, before I let you go, obviously last year you went back and forth between Rocket City and the big league club. What was your takeaway at the end of the season from your big league experience? Maybe the best thing you learned and maybe the one thing you realized you really had to work on?
Yeah, I just had to work on not getting too mad, and which I'm still working on. It's just very tough. And then the way you miss, you got to miss. If you're going away, miss away. If you're going in, miss in. And just making competitive pitches. And working with runners on, not trying to be too stressed out, and things like that. That's what it comes down to be able to make pitches when I need to. And, I would make some good pitches, but, some would get taken out of the yard because when I didn't hit a good spot and would miss on the other side of the plate of what I was going, it would be a home run. And, it's just one of those things that I'm still learning to do, just to, make pitches when I need to make pitches. And when I just need to cruise, just cruise. And that's the difference in the change in the mindset when I need to flip the switch, and not be too comfortable and too complacent, never too high, never too low.
Well, continue success this year. Hopefully that next call-up is soon, and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the On Deck Circle. Our guest is Beast pitcher Jake Kalish, who was outstanding last night, 5 2/3 innings, tied a career high with 10 strikeouts, and congratulations, Jake, an outstanding effort last night.
Thank you very much. It was good to get out there and put the team in a position to win, and we got it done.
Any idea that you were even close to a career high?
I had an idea around the 4th. It was close. I wasn't quite sure exactly. I actually thought I was at 9, and I came in. Silseth was charting and told me I had 10. So, it was pretty cool. It's a fun night.
I'm just guessing here, and you can say I'm crazy or not, but you probably think better than the 10 in the K column, the 0 in the walk column.
Yeah, the first couple outings was kind of not pounding the zone, which is, very uncharacteristic for me, and made a couple adjustments. And, it was fun to just go out there and pound the zone. And it felt very familiar to just go out and attack the strike zone.
Was that the biggest adjustment that you made last night?
Definitely. Just a little something we've been working on with Ebes in the bullpen. Just right from pitch one, I felt like I was able to just kind of have that good feel in the zone. It makes life a lot easier when you're just attacking hitters and forcing contact, and then you get ahead, you get a chance to get your swing and miss.
It's got to be difficult as you make each step throughout your career. More often than not, you have to work with a new pitching coach, and there obviously has to be a level of trust between a pitcher and his coach. How are things going along with that relationship with Derrin Ebert?
No, Ebes is great. I give him a lot of credit because I've been working with him now since probably mid-spring training. He likes to give you a lot of autonomy. But over the last 2, I'm like, hey, what do you got? And we kind of talked about it, especially using my sinker a little bit more. And, it felt really good last night.
So how was your off season?
Off season was great. I was at home pretty much, well, not all the time. Yeah, a couple of weddings, things like that. Went saw some family. But, just another off-season of putting in the work and getting myself in the best possible shape that I can be for the season.
And really, you had a lot to build on. You had a solid season last year, 10 2, low ERA, had the injury problem. It was interesting, though, that before you got hurt, you were a starter, and then they put you in the bullpen. Which role do you prefer, or does it matter?
I think I really enjoy starting. Obviously, to be one of the 5 guys that they turn out every day and say it's your day to go out there and put the team in a position to win is obviously something I take a lot of pride in. But I just enjoy pitching in general. Last year, when I came back, I just hadn't been built up enough yet out of my injury. So it was, they kind of gave me the choice. Do you want to make 1 or 2 starts to finish the year, or do you want to get out and pitch all September? And, obviously I wanted to pitch, so I went out and just did what I could out of the bullpen. But obviously if it's an opportunity to get to the big leagues, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Before I let you go, I've noticed just looking, a lot of new guys again this year on the pitching staff. Turnover always a big thing in AAA, but it seems like this group has become close-knit really quick.
Yeah, I think especially from the pitching staff side, there's a bunch of guys that have returned, and some familiar faces. A lot of the guys in the clubhouse you've seen somewhere or another throughout your career. And I think there's just a lot of respect, and I give Keith Johnson a lot of credit as well. He kind of came in and set the tone for what we want to do as a team, and guys are buying in and want to go out there and win games.
Again, congratulations on a great effort last night. Hopefully, that's a building block for the rest of the year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Steve.
Welcome back to the On Deck Circle. Our guest is Beast pitching coach Derrin Ebert. And Derrin, first of all, welcome to Salt Lake. First year in the Angels organization. Your hometown team. How did it all come about?
Yeah, it's honestly just one phone call that I received that the Angels wanted to interview me for a position, and last year I accepted to just be down there in AZL and kind of help the young kids out there. But I think you hit it on the head to kind of come home and be with the organization I grew up watching and being around, having season tickets to. Never got a chance to play for them, but being able to put the A on has been pretty special.
As a guy who pitched throughout his career, who was your favorite pitcher as a kid growing up going to Angel Stadium?
Chuck Finley. Mm-hmm. Chuck Finley was probably the one. I actually got to see him in spring training. He came out for about 4 or 5 days. And like the little kid in me came back again just to hang out, have some conversations with him and kind of get into his mind a little bit. That was one of the highlights of spring training for me.
Obviously, a pitching coach at this level, at AAA, it's a little bit different than every other level. You've got guys who have been in the show. You've got guys on their way up, guys trying to get another chance at getting to the big leagues. I think you're 50% mechanics and 50% dealing with the heads.
Yes, you have to have a little bit of sports psychology, I guess, and being able to kind of understand what these guys go through, not just physically but mentally. I was on that roller coaster in Atlanta for a little while. I kind of understand the emotions that they go through, and just getting them focused on what they got to do on that day, and being sensitive to everything that goes on away from the field. Because now you're dealing with guys with families too, and kids, and travel, and getting family from one city to another. There's a lot of different factors that go on, and just being able to communicate with the guys, I think, is the biggest thing, and let them be able to build that trust in me that I can just help guide them.
It's an interesting mix that we have here as far as your pitching staff is concerned. Some veterans who have been in the big leagues, some young veterans who have been in the big leagues, and again, some young guys who are looking for their first trip up.
Yeah, and everybody's in a completely different situation, and getting them to realize that you got to look to the left and look to the right, and somebody may get the call and you're expecting it to be you, and just being able to stay focused on what your plan is, what you're trying to do, to just better yourself and prepare yourself for when that phone call comes. And we've got a great group. I couldn't be more pleased with the staff that we have and how the guys get along and they communicate, and some of the older guys and how they're open to talk about their experiences up there. And actually, we're going to have a little chop talk today, and I want to let the older guys speak a little bit about their experiences and just see where it goes, because these guys have built a pretty good bond, and it's fun to watch.
I want to go back to the psychological part of it, because I thought last night was a great example. Here's a kid in Jacob Webb who's been in the big leagues, scuffled his last 2 times out, got tagged with a loss twice in Albuquerque, and yet first time out in this series, you put him in a closer role. And to me, if I were that guy, if I were Jacob, that would give me a pump up when they tell you, hey, you're going to close this game.
Yeah, he's shown he's done it at the highest level. But for me, it's not just the 9th inning. It's finding opportunities for them to be successful, depending on where it is in the lineup. Trying to give every guy an opportunity at the back end, and also to come in high leverage situations. Warren coming in with runners on last night. To me, that's just as important as getting those last 3 outs and getting those guys to realize that when they do get the call and they go up to Anaheim, that they're going to be in those different roles. I just want to expose them to everything that they'll hopefully get to experience when they get up there.
And finally, it was a night that, after 2 outstanding outings so far, Chase Silseth didn't have his command, but as I like to say, he bulldogged his way through the 4 innings and only gave up the 3 runs, of which 2 were earned. Yeah,
we just had a conversation about that, and that just goes to show, pitchers nowadays, their stuff is just so big and so elite, and he's one of those guys. And guys that have that are able to get away with not having an inning get away from him too much. Guys that may not have the elite fastball or the secondary stuff that he has may not get out of that first inning. But on the flip side, it was a good learning experience, I think, for him to realize that the game may have sped up on him a little bit. He can work on the mental approach to be able to make adjustments in game instead of try to make adjustments between innings.
All right, Derrin, appreciate your time. Again, welcome back to Salt Lake, and we'll do this again soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Welcome back to the On Deck Circle. Our guest is Bees outfielder Jordyn Adams. First of all, welcome to Salt Lake, Jordyn. And after some rough at-bats early, it seems like you're locked in right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's kind of hard starting off the season below 40 degrees. But, I mean, now that it's just getting in the flow of AAA, getting in the hang of things, having that routine schedule daily, going in, coming into the field every day and just coming in working. And now it's just all flowing together.
I know we're only 2 weeks in, but is there a noticeable difference? What's the first thing that jumps out at you about this level compared to last year?
Honestly, just the guys. The guys are better. They're more around the zone. Their stuff is moving a little bit more horizontally. You kind of have less of those guys that are wild and you're just trying to predict them in the zone. But, yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing. Then most starters have more than 4 pitchers in their arsenal to throw at you. So it's honestly just minimizing your plan and knowing what you can do as a player, what you can damage and stuff like that, and then just staying with that approach.
What's the biggest thing you're working with Joel Chamelis, the hitting coach, with?
Consistency, honestly. That's it. I know if I'm on time and if I'm in a hitter's position, then I could do damage. So I'm just trying to consistently stay in that mindset and get in those positions.
You know, somebody was asking me the other day, and in my 29 seasons with this ball club, between you and Mickey and Joe, this has to be the fastest outfield that I've seen here, and it's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, we love it out there. I mean, it's fun playing with potentially 3 center fielders out there. So, I mean, we all know each other. We all know that we can cover ground. We all trust each other to do that. We all have good arms. We all have great gloves. So it's just fun out there. You know, we're out there like little kids out there playing Little League ball again.
Well, you know, it's also, I know, the first time that we've ever had 3 first-round draft picks in the outfield at the same time. When you get that pick in the first round, and obviously there's some rewards that come with it, but what about the pressures? Does the outside pressure affect you at all, or is it all within?
No, not at all. I mean, it's not pressure unless you make it pressure on yourself. So, I mean, as much as people talk, they'll talk just as the same if you're doing bad. So, I mean, I don't really put mine to the noise outside. I just try to put my head down and keep working.
Got to ask you, too, you had committed, had a chance to play both football and baseball at the University of North Carolina. What led you in the path of baseball?
Honestly, it's just the opportunity. Like you said, I was a first-round pick, so you can't really pass that up. And being an athlete early on as a kid, it's like your dream is to play professional sports. So, I mean, that opportunity presented itself, and I kind of just took it and ran. Couldn't pass that up.
Not to mention the fact for self-preservation, you have a much longer athletic life and post-athletic life when you play baseball as opposed to football.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
What did you play in football?
I played receiver and a little bit of quarterback.
Yeah, because we had a guy here a few years ago, you might remember the name Michael Hermosillo, and he was a guy that chose baseball for self-preservation over football. Of course, he was a slot back too, but a very talented athlete as well. So obviously a little bit different too from Double A as far as the way you travel and the places that you stay at. You've got to like it so far.
Oh, yeah, it's fun. I mean, I tell people all the time I wouldn't be in most of the cities I travel to if it wasn't for me playing a game of baseball. But now that, we're catching flights, going coast to coast, it's kind of feeling like actual pro ball for real. So I'm just taking it all in, honestly, enjoying it.
And finally, you're from Cary, North Carolina. Whereabouts in North Carolina is that, and how was the quality of baseball there?
Well, I originally grew up in Mississippi, so I went to high school 2 years in North Carolina. So, I mean, the baseball there we had good guys come out of North Carolina. I know most people probably wouldn't consider North Carolina being like the top competitive baseball state, but we definitely have guys that come out and make a name for themselves.
All right. Well, continued success and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.